Here we have a fishing reel that it's time to be re-spooled on. And we're going to be using this type of Trilene line. It doesn't matter what kind of line you're using. You're going to pretty much re-spool your spinning rods all the same. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start by breaking this rod down. We're in a house, so we don't have too much room to maneuver. So it'll help just to have a two-piece rod like this one. And this one comes right apart like so. There you go. And we're just going to go and cut this off and put this up for later. Alright, and then we're just going to set that to the side for later. And we don't need this piece of the rod for right now, so we're just going to set this to the side. So now we're going to flip the spool back like that, and then we're just going to pull all the line out of it until it's empty. Alright, now that we're at the bottom of the line, now we're just going to cut the knot so we could detach this line away from the spool. And there you go, pops right off. Make sure that's nice and secure in there. So now, this is what we're looking at. A nice empty spool. This is what it's supposed to look like. If you want to clean and oil your reel, this would be the time to do that. We're just going to re-spool it because I'm trying to hit the lake before it gets too dark on me now, so we're not going to do all that maintenance right now. For right now, let's go ahead and get this Trilene on there. So whatever line you use, that's up to you. I'm using a monofilament, and all the monofilaments you can do the same way that I'm doing this spool right here. So let's go ahead and get our line ready. We're going to set the rod down beside us for the time being. And go ahead and pull the entire spool out of the box. And on the spool of a brand new pouch, you'll have this piece of sticker right here that keeps the loose end organized. That way it's easy to find. So you just find where your tape is, take that tape off. Make sure you keep your tag in on your hand so you don't lose it. And then you're just gonna put the spool right back in the box. And this little hole right here, all your fishing lines usually have like a hole cut out to the side of it. This is where we're going to make our tag end come out of. So we're going to start by threading that hole first. Alright, and then once we have the tag end through that hole, we're going to tighten up the spool a little bit. I'm going to reel up all that slack, and then we're just going to put it in. It doesn't matter how you put it in, just put it in there and close the box. Alright, so now we pick up our rod and reel. You're going to flip back the spool, put it in the unlocked position. And then we're gonna tie our line onto our empty spool. So at this part, a lot of people like to ask what's the best knot to use to tie a line to your spool. I tell them the best knot to use is the best knot that you know how to tie. So I'm gonna do that. We're just gonna do my favorite knot, you do your favorite knot, and then we'll continue. This is the part that usually gives a lot of people trouble. But once you figure out how to tie these knots and get good at it, it's a breeze. So we got the line tied onto the spool. Now we gotta cut the tag in. So just to be safe, you're just gonna leave a little bit of a tag in, but not much at all. There we go. So we got the line hooked onto the spool. You're gonna lock the spool by closing the spool, like so. All right, so this is what we have now. This is basically what we're working with. Hold the rod and the line with your right hand, and then use your left hand to start reeling. And keep that tension in your right hand in between those two fingers that's got that line in it. And that way, as you're spooling, it spools exactly where it needs to be. And we're just gonna reel it all the way up until it almost meets that lip. You don't want it to go over, and you don't want it to be flush with it. Just a little bit of that lip should be poking over that full spool once we get it all the way filled up. All we do with the box is just drop it on the floor, and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So go ahead and spool it up. Yeah, make sure y'all put a little lubrication on your finger because it will warm up. All right, and then we snip it away from the box. And there we go. You're going to thread this through the rest of the eyelets, and that is how you re-spool a spinning rod. Make sure you follow and like for more content like this. Happy fishing.